Welcome to Reddit After Hours. This is r/am I the butthole, where OP leaves a family party for their family dismissing her accomplishment with sobriety. Our first Reddit post comes from Def Not a Rich B, titled, "Am I the butthole for leaving a family gathering and taking the cake with me after getting my feelings hurt?" I, a 27-year-old female, hit 1 year sober from alcohol at the beginning of the year. This was a huge accomplishment for me. It was bigger to me than finishing college. I told my family that next time we were together for a family dinner, I had something to celebrate. This all happened at my mom's house. The kids were playing and the adults were hanging out. I took that moment to share that I had reached 1 year sober and how good I felt about it. They went, "Oh, that's what you were talking about. And has it been a year already?" I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I really hope someone would have said that they were proud of me. My brother-in-law, Steve, looked at my sister and they both said, "Well," at the same time, and she said, "Since we're all here, niece just got into a specific gymnastics thing. It's been a long road, but she did it." Steve popped some wine that they had brought and started giving everyone glasses/cups. He made eye contact with me and his face fell. I had this gnawing feeling, so I got up from the table and I took a walk. I tried to get through the moment mentally so I could be present for my niece to celebrate her success. But when I got back to the house, my sister asked me why I had left without saying anything. I said I needed a minute to myself. She kind of looked at me funny and said, "Okay." I said that I had shared something that I was very proud of and she just bulldozed over it. My mom put her hand up and asked me what my news was. I said that I had told them already. I hit 1 year sober. Mom said that my generation always wanted praise for doing, quote, the bare minimum, that this wasn't an accomplishment, it's just what I needed to do, like graduating high school. I tried to make it through dinner, but found myself just not in the mood anymore, so I decided to go home. Here's the direct thing that people are calling me a butthead for. I'd brought a small berry chantilly cake, my favorite, to share after dinner. It was the thing that I decided I had earned. The kids had definitely seen it, and on my way out, I decided to take it home with me. I guess she realized the cake wasn't in the garage fridge anymore, because my sister called me to ask why I took it. I said I did because it was my cake to celebrate my accomplishment. My mom later texted me directly to tell me how disappointed she was that I threw a tantrum because my niece got more attention than me. I don't think her read of what happened is right though, but that is why I'm asking you guys. Am I the butthole because I took home the cake in the end? Was that really childish of me, considering the kids saw it and they didn't get any? As I was putting on my shoes to leave, Steve found me and directly apologized and said that he was completely oblivious in the moment. I know he did not do anything to intentionally hurt me. Am I the butthole? OP, definitely not the butthole. I don't think this has anything to do with your niece getting more attention than you. It has more to do with your family dismissing your accomplishment. Beating addiction is a real thing and a real accomplishment for a lot of people. So many people can't do it, and it's great that you did. Also, I don't think that your sister even brought up the thing about your niece because she wanted to. She just felt awkward about your news and decided to change the topic. So, definitely not the butthole OP. Our next Reddit post comes from EmptyButton6511. Titled, "Am I the butthole for telling my sister that her baby isn't real?" I, a 26-year-old female, got engaged to my fiance on January 1st. I was very excited to share this with my family, of course, and everyone congratulating me and my fiance. I sent a picture of my ring to my family group chat as well as on my Instagram, and everyone has been commenting on the fact that I got a very big diamond. My diamond is lab grown and it's just under 5 carats. I specifically asked for a lab-grown diamond as I believe that they're more ethical, as you never really know if a mined diamond is a blood diamond. My sister, who's 31, was very excited for me, but as soon as I showed her my ring, her mood changed, and she was telling me that it was too flashy and that it's not particular, and that it's too trendy and not timeless. My ring is a pear-shaped solitaire ring with a marquise band, and I absolutely love it. My sister then told me that there was no way that my fiance could afford my ring. True, if it was a mined diamond, it would be like 10 times the price, and my fiance is a second-year resident, and that I should test it to see if it's a real diamond. I replied that it's a lab diamond, so it's a lot less expensive. She then proceeded to tell me how lab diamonds aren't real diamonds, and since they're made in a lab, it doesn't hold the same sentimental value. My sister's ring is a small 1-carat mined diamond, and honestly, it's beautiful. I never said anything bad about her ring, and it suits her. I tried to laugh it off, and I told her that I specifically asked for a lab diamond, and that I don't want a mined diamond. When I said that, she started yelling at me that it wasn't even a real diamond in the first place, and that it was grown in a lab, not the ground. That's when I said that by her logic, my niece wasn't a real baby then, because she was an IVF baby and grown in a lab too. My sister and her husband had a lot of issues conceiving, as my sister had some complications with endometriosis. Their IVF journey was really tough, and they had multiple rounds and attempts, and one miscarriage, but finally got lucky and had my very healthy niece last year. I know my sister had a hard time conceiving. That was kind of the point I was trying to make. My niece started in a lab, but she has beautiful meaning behind her life too. When I made the comment that my niece wasn't a real baby because she was an IVF baby, my sister started crying over the phone. Her husband then called me and berated me and told me that I was insensitive and couldn't understand the depths of her emotional turmoil, and that I shouldn't have started a fight over a ring. He even said that I was an ableist. I have endometriosis too. My mom said it's not a big deal and I should just let my sister cool off. I usually babysit my niece pretty often, but my sister hasn't been answering my calls for about a week. My fiance says that, although I probably shouldn't have said that, I was justified. I didn't mean it seriously. I know my niece is a real baby, and I adore her, and I spoil her all the time. Am I really the butthole? Update. As of this morning, my sister has called me asking for a babysitter. I suspected that this would be why she would call me, as I have been babysitting for free when no one else would in either my family or my brother-in-law's family. She apologized that her husband called me and cursed me out, but she didn't apologize for her own comments. I apologize for what I said, as I know it was insensitive, but explained to her that she misunderstood what I meant. And to everyone who is confused, I do not think IVF babies are not real babies. Obviously, I was so taken aback that some of you guys read my post and thought that. I said by my sister's own logic, she thinks her baby isn't a real baby because apparently things can't be real if they're grown in a lab to her. The point I was trying to make was my diamond is real just like her baby is real. OP, I don't think you're a total butthole, but I do think everyone kind of sucks here. Probably not the best comparison to make, to her child after she's had pregnancy issues in the past. A lot of people in general get really defensive over their kids, so I can only imagine how defensive she would get after having all those issues. But at the same time, for what purpose was she commenting on your ring like that? Why did she have to fight you on your ring not being real so hard? I think you both kind of were a little bit off the wall here, but nothing you guys can't come back from, clearly. Am I the butthole for not giving the, quote, dollhouse I built to my niece, but to my wife as a gift instead? For a little context, it's not a dollhouse, but I didn't want anyone to think that I was being misleading on purpose by saying that I built a house. Anyway, I, a 28-year-old male, made my wife, a 28-year-old female, a replica of a house that's known to fans of a musician, but wouldn't really mean much to others. It's about 2 feet tall and wasn't very complicated to build. But my wife had said a few times over the last year that she thought it would be cool to have for a little trinket. She's like a crow with her trinkets, and I love it. She didn't know I was making it for her, but I did sneakily involve her in the creation through having her make a couple of TikToks when we were out together so I could get the colors right. She had no idea. I was excited, so I showed the picture to my brother. He told me it was cool, but didn't get the purpose. He showed it to my niece, Ava, who's 13, who knew what it was and said that she wanted one too. My brother asked if I could give it to Ava for her birthday. I said no, it's for my wife, but I can make one with Ava. It would help to teach her some basic woodworking skills, which they don't do in school here anymore. I'd like that. Brother said that if it was so easy, then I could make a second one for my wife and just give this one to Ava since her birthday is at the end of the month. Again, I said no. This was done specifically for my wife. He seemed to accept that, but then came back to me and said, "Isn't it a little weird to make a dollhouse for an adult woman?" I told him, no, it's not a dollhouse, just a fancy shelf. He argued that makes it worse because Ava would actually play with it. He must have gone to complain to my mom about it. He is the younger brother after all. Because mom called me to tell me that it was, quote, stupid to give my wife a dollhouse. I tried to explain to her that it's not a dollhouse, but she kept just saying that it's stupid. This weekend, I was at their house, and Ava kept bringing up the house and laying it on thick, with statements like, I've always wanted one just like it. She kept asking my wife why she wanted a dollhouse. I said it's not a dollhouse, but she kept asking why she needed a dollhouse. I told my brother that he was encouraging his kid to be manipulative, and I really don't like it, so I was going to leave. He told me that I was dangling the house over her head like McDonald's and teasing her, and that it made me a bad uncle. Being a good uncle is important to me, and I do feel for the girl because she's a big fan too. I admit I have a blind spot for this because I don't really have kids, and maybe I shouldn't have shared the picture with my brother to begin with. Am I really the butthole for not just giving it to her? Yes, it was easy to make, and I could make another one quickly. OP, you didn't dangle anything over your niece's head. Her dad did. If you told your brother no, he shouldn't have gone to his daughter and told her anything about a dollhouse and put that idea in her head to begin with. Your brother is the problem here. You don't hold it against people for not giving you something when you tell them no. I share projects with my brother all the time and send him pictures of things that I build, but he doesn't get salty or upset if I don't build a second one for him. 10 out of 10, not the butthole OP. Your brother needs to quit his entitlement and stop tattletaling to mom every time you do something wrong. If he has a kid, he's old enough to handle issues himself without running to mommy. Our next Reddit post comes from Known Occasion 2041, titled, Am I the butthole for declining to invite a woman who has called herself a, quote, total klepto into my home? I joined a women's social club about 6 months ago because I've been struggling to make friends after relocating to a new city. It took me a while to warm up to the group and connect with people that I actually had anything in common with. I had to wade through a lot of box top parties and boozy brunches to find these things that I was interested in. But eventually I did, and I started coming to group events fairly often. I hung out most often with the women who like to read, do crafty things, bake, skywatch, etc. Among these women is one, I'll call her India, who has made several comments about how she is a total klepto. I think she makes these comments to seem cool to the other people in the group. I reached out to some of the women I see regularly at these events and invited them over to my place to watch a TV show that we had been talking about and do crafty stuff. They were all pretty excited and agreed to come over. Unfortunately, Andrea found out. I assumed someone asked if she was going, and reached out to me to ask if she was invited. I considered this for a bit, but then told her no, as I only had so much room at my home. She didn't believe me and asked me for the real reason, saying, I thought we got along, which, yes, is true. I told her that I'm not comfortable inviting a kleptomaniac into my home, that I've worked hard to have things I have, and that it would be stupid for me to invite her knowing that she openly brags about it. She said, okay, very quietly. She then said, you're painting me out to be some horrible criminal when you don't even know anything about me. I said that her being proud to call herself a klepto was all I needed to know. She said that I was acting like a high school mean girl and an ableist. I'm unsure what the foundation for that statement is. This unfortunately has spilled over into my friend group, which is really frustrating. But what has me the most surprised is that there are so many people defending her, telling me that I'm out of touch and taking things too literally. Am I? Am I the butthole? OP, if you're so out of touch and your friends really want to have her over that bad, then they can host every party every single time you guys have a get-together, and they can risk her stealing from their house. You are absolutely not the butthole. She is openly bragging about stealing from people. I wouldn't invite her over too. And at the end of the day, it's your house. It's your home. You can invite someone over or not invite someone over for a good reason or for no reason at all. It's your home. You don't need a reason to tell someone they cannot come over, especially not someone that brags about being a compulsive stealer. Absolutely not the butthole OP. That was Reddit After Hours, bringing you r/Am I the Butthole. Thank you all for listening, and if you like these stories, like and subscribe as we post new Reddit videos almost every single day, and leave a comment down below for any future subreddits you'd like to see.